Welcome back to the Creatives Podcast. We're your hosts, Ben and Ilya. And today our guest is Aviv Ben Or. He is the CEO of Hexa Cinema and the founder of Film Business Master, a course that teaches up-and-coming creators the business ropes of the industry and how to market themselves. Welcome to the show, Aviv.
Glad to be here, guys. Wow, I couldn't introduce myself better.
We tried. It took us a few hours to come up with just that little.
It teaches you a lot about like how your messaging comes across.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Because I didn't tell you how to introduce me, so yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I felt like we were trying to figure out what's the best way, and it was just like, I don't know. After a few hours of doing a little bit of research here and there, and we just came together.
All right, nice.
But honestly, yeah, I just wanted to start. If you just wanted to, maybe I know we gave you a little intro, but if you want to also give yourself a little intro on like who you are, what you've been up to, and like maybe how you got started in the industry itself.
Okay, so I'll give a short background just so people have some context. So as you said, I own two hats. I do video productions, and I also teach that. So with my video production hat, I do online ads for businesses, and the aim is to create sales for those businesses with the videos I create, and I will get to it in more depth in a second. And the second hat is teaching upcoming videographers, filmmakers who are struggling with the business side, how to take their passion and actually get clients, get higher paying clients, close deals, negotiate, market themselves, all these kind of stuff. Because most people, most creative people, when they go out and they decide to have a business, and we all have been there, like, we think that our talent will get us where we want to be. And then the harsh truth is that, nope. That's you have to have great talent, but then comes the personal touch, the business aspect, the service, the offer, the marketing, everything. So yeah, basically that. Now a short story on how I got started. So I've been through Central America, did my 7 months trip, like every Israeli is doing it at around 21. We're doing a big trip, South America, Central America. We love it. So I've done mine, and then I went back home. And before starting to going to college or studying, university, I didn't really knew what I wanted to do. And I had a fun little story where I got casted for this children's TV show. Again, it's a long story. I won't get into it, but one thing led to another, and I found myself as a children's actor, in a TV show. And that was 2 years where I found myself as an actor, and I really liked it. But it was never my dream to be an actor. And I got a little fame, and I got a little people recognize me in the street, and then and that's fine, that's cute. But I didn't like it, to be honest. And I always thought I want to do something that I have passion for, not something that will just be like, oh, I'm doing great, yeah, I'm fine. No, I don't want to be fine. I want to be, I'm waking up in the morning,
Yeah.
So, or I can't go to sleep because there's this crazy project I'm doing. And ever since I was a kid, I loved building stuff and creating stuff, even to the level of my favorite game was Roller Coaster Tycoon. I loved that game. I was creating, crazy parks. Anyway, so creating stuff from nothing was really a passion of mine. I didn't know where to take that love of creating. So I did a lot of stuff. I started with, before the story that I just told you about acting. I was doing 3D art. I was trying product photography, and I'm talking about like 14 years old, just like in my room, trying stuff and then trying to sell it. Yeah, I've never talked about it in the course. And then trying to sell it on Shutterstock and places like this. No success, zero success. And yeah, I had tons of ventures. I tried to sell funny T-shirts. I had an online store with my friend where we try to sell those crazy iPhone cases. Like seriously, yeah, tons of ventures. So when the 2 years of my acting career was ended, it's coming to an end, I was like, okay, what am I doing? Because like you're in this crazy ongoing project. You don't notice, time goes by really fast. You're really enjoying it. It's not your passion, but you're really enjoying it. And then the show is over. What am I doing with my life now? And so at that point, a bit fast forward, I was really fascinated by the whole drone scene that started. It was back in 2014. 13, 14, something like that. And so one day I got casted for this short commercial where they shot a horse chase scene with a drone with two operators. So like one flying the drone and one, shooting with a camera, with a monitor. And it was so cool. And I went to the producer and asked him, hey, listen, like, how much did you pay them? Like, with all my nerve. Yeah. And he said, $3,000. I'm translating the currency. It wasn't shekels, 9,000, but $3,000. I'm like, what do you mean? So he said, $3,000 for the day. I was like, what? Okay, I'm getting a drone. And little did I know. Also, I went into the drone industry because when I was a kid, I had an RC plane, used to fly around with my dad. And so, one thing led to another. I was like, yeah, looks perfect. I want to do that. Just so people understand it, this stage, I'm around 23, 24. Most people already have their I think they're in the middle of their degree or whatever.
They have their wife, family, kids.
Yeah, and I'm like trying to figure myself like, what the hell am I want to do? So do I want to do? So I bought a drone, and then I was starting to think, okay, I have a drone. That's cool. How the hell do I get clients? My dad bought the drone for me. How do I get clients? And that was the point where I realized you have to have a license for it. You can't do it commercially. Otherwise, you're like, people can sue you and then it's illegal and whatever. And I was like, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do this thing and then I'm gonna get a license. Took me a year.
Whoa.
Yeah, it took me a year to do that because at the time they didn't have infrastructures, and you have to technically open a how do you call it, a flying company. Like if you own a 737 Boeing, it doesn't mean you can fly it, right? You have to have it under like a company,
right?
Registered company. So it's the same thing here, because it wasn't like, it was super new. So the equivalent of the equivalent of the aviation. Yeah. How do you call it?
FAA.
FAA. Sorry for my English. Yeah. So the equivalent of the FAA here in Israel, like they didn't know what to do with it, so they put it under like, this is a commercial flying thing, and then you have to have your license. Anyway, took me a long time to get it. I got it eventually, and I started flying around and literally looking for clients. One day, I decided, you know what? I'll go around the city. I'll shoot my whole city, like key areas, key places. I will edit that thing, send it to City Hall, see what will happen. Because when you don't have a business, when you don't have any income, you have time.
Yep.
Right? So that's what I did. I went all over the city. I shot some cool shots, and just reminding you, like, drone shots at the time were a new thing. People are not used to see their cities from above. So I edited this video. I think it's around 3 minutes. And I sent it to City Hall and told them, hey guys, I made this cool video. Hope you like it. I don't want money. Just if you post it, please just tag me in the post. And for my surprise, they were thrilled. And they put it out and got like 20,000 views in like 2 days. Yeah. And a lot of comments. People loved it so much. And I got invited to City Hall from like the mayor wanted to meet me. It didn't happen eventually, but I really liked like the goodwill, you know?
Yeah.
And that video turned out to be a paid gig, like 1 or 2 months afterwards. I don't remember how long, but that basically, they asked me, okay, we loved it. Can we do a real one where you like, you know, we'll give you the points that we want in the video, and then you go shoot it and blah, blah, blah. And that was actually the first time that I had to create a production. Now, I've never, at this point, I never went to college yet, university, sorry. I've never went to film school or anything like that. I don't know how those things, the closest thing that I've ever been to doing this is being on set. But as an actor, you don't really see what goes on. You have no idea. So I was like, okay. And I think the quote I gave them was around $3,000, something like that, for the whole video. And I hired a videographer because I don't know how to shoot. All I know how to drone. Right. And I hired an editor because I was just starting to edit. And off we go.
Right.
And that basically was the first time I started producing stuff. And just for people who listens to this and you know, they think they have to know it all, like all the, you know, production parts before you start, just goes to show I didn't know what the hell am I doing. Right? And so, and the editor bailed on me like halfway through the project. Oh. And I had to take it on my own, which was a nightmare, but also taught me a lot. I should talk about this in the course. Anyway, yeah, it was a nightmare and a blast at the same time. And I think I think I talked to you about this before, but growth in business is not linear. Just goes to show you have this opportunity that you created in a way, right? But it really hurts. Like, how do you know that you're growing? It hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts either because you're learning a new thing, stuff are failing around. You're growing. That's the moment you're growing. Because after that project, taking on the same kind of project was way easier.
Exactly.
I've been there. I know how to do that. Let's go. You know? And so anyway, that was like my short entrance, like not my short, but like how I entered this world of making videos. And of course, there's much more to the evolution to this day, but that's what got me into this in this thing.
Awesome. And just sort of just for the people kind of to know, so as of right now, do you mainly produce? Is that kind of your main thing that you do?
No. My main thing is my course. And then I would say it's like 80-20. So I got rid of all my clients except one, which is just like, I really love working with her. She's like a mentor. She has a online school. So, you know, we're like doing the same thing.
Right.
So I'm testing on her, like I'm doing commercials for her and all those kind of stuff. So it's beneficial in both ways. But I got rid of all of my clients, my retainer clients, and I get 1 to 2 requests a week from people who want me to make videos for them. And if I don't feel like it, I don't do it. And that's exactly where I wanted to be. Like 2 years ago, because I was so burned out from the productions I did, I wanted to switch it. And I first switched it with the business model that, if you want, I will get to it in a second. I switched the business model from project-based to retainer clients. And then further after that was the online course. So my main goal was to do like a 70-30, 80-20, 80% teaching what I do, 20% keep doing it and improving.
Right.
So yeah, that's kind of like how it looks.
Wow.
And what made you switch? Again, I know you kind of mentioned that you were burnt, but what made you decide to, like, because again, there's so many like avenues, especially I guess in our space. It's like you can produce, you can direct, like there's so many millions of things that you can kind of think of doing. Why did you decide specifically to go out and like start helping people starting their own business or starting their own venture?
Yeah. So first of all, I wasn't thinking, how can I help people? I was thinking, how can I make money without giving service to people I hate? Like, I am bad with giving service to clients. And I'm talking about this. Like, that's why I'm whenever I have a project, I bring in a producer. And I'm like, you talk to them. Yeah. I'm not good at this. You know, I get like when clients are like, they don't understand why I did a certain thing in the video and they want to change it with no reasoning behind it, I'm going crazy about it. And I know it's wrong. And I'm not good at it. And by the way, it's a very important thing to be self-conscious about those things. I'm bad at giving service. So I wanted to get away from that. So today, if I don't have enough budget for a project to bring in a producer to bridge that gap between me and the client, I won't do that. You know?
Right.
So anyway, you ask what was the thing that made me want to say, okay, fuck it. So that was one client. It was through one of my ad agencies that I worked with. It was a very easy close because it was through the ad agency. And as you know, it's much easier to close through a mitigator. So the deal was pretty much closed. It was a business that let people get married outside the traditional religious, how do you call it? Outside of the traditional religious ceremonies.
Okay.
So I really like the idea as well. And we started doing, you know, pre-production and all these kind of stuff. And the big idea was just renting a place, getting the CEO to sit there and talk about stuff and answering questions as I'm the interviewer, she's going to be interviewed, and then combine that with actual clients of hers that did this wedding the way she sells it and what's their experience and blah, blah, blah. So it's a fairly like simple production. So one day shoot with, I don't know, like it was me, the DOP, it was the makeup artist, production assistant, and another production assistant, maybe, I don't remember, and the client and the marketing department. Fairly simple, but it wasn't simple for me because that was the last project I did as a producer. At that time, I didn't realize I'm the producer because I still didn't realize there are certain roles to the production. In a way, that, when I went and I participated in the TV show, and they told me the budget was $2 million. I was like, what the hell? $2 million for what? What? Why do you need so many people to just hold the camera and press record? And you don't understand that before you go into production. You don't understand it. You have to go in it. So I ended up being the producer of this thing, and not only the producer, being the I don't know how you say it in English, but the guy that makes sure that everybody knows when they need to come to the set, and interviews everyone before the shooting, all the clients,
Casting.
the CEO, like all the things, and doing the script and doing the revisions to the script and storyboard and renting and driving and taking it. And I was doing a part of at least 3 to 4 people.
Oh, yeah, easily.
Not including being the director of that day. And it was just crazy. And also I brought in a new editor that I didn't know. She was like, okay, but I ended up needing to, like, I had to take that project because she didn't do a good job, and I had to re-edit myself.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this whole thing just got me like, and it wasn't like they didn't have any money. Like, it wasn't like, I think it was $7,000, something like that, which at the time I thought was okay. But then you realize why people are charging the $50,000, $100,000. You understand why. Quality requires people, So that was the point where, like, I remember, I cannot go into too much detail in this story because it's long, but I got to a point the day before the shooting that one of the couples that we said we scheduled them to come to set, they call me up and they say they can't make it. And basically that fucks up the whole production.
Yeah. And
I remember myself like walking in my room, like trying to juggle all those things, and my friend told me, like, I looked so white, like what happened? Like I'm looking pale as hell. Yeah. And I don't even care for if I make money off of this. I just don't want to fuck my client. Yeah. Like, it's my client put money on this. They trust me. The ad agency trusts me. They bring in work on a constant basis. Like, I can't fuck this up. Yeah. So I got to such a stressful place that only in hindsight I could look back at it and say, fuck, no more. Like, no way. I have to change something. Yeah. And only when my friend, who's a director as well, I told him the story. He told me why this was so hectic. He was holding a mirror and showing me, look, you were doing a role of 4 people. Why you cannot do this on your own. So it might be obvious for people who went to film school. For me, I was like, what? And then I realized, okay, I cannot do these type of projects in less than X, and that's it. And more than that, I realized that every month it doesn't matter if in January I did amazing. On February, it goes to 0 again, and I have to do it all over. Yeah. So I that was the point that I was started to think in terms of business models, and not just like doing great productions. Because if I'm getting worn down, my creative mind won't be there. It doesn't matter. Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's kind of, I think, a little bit of what we've had that realization too. Like, as you get into bigger productions, you start to try and wear, all these different hats. Especially, I feel like at the start, where you're just like, oh my god, like if I'm doing everything, I can make like way more money. And then it starts to like snowball, and you're like, okay, wait a minute. Like this isn't what I thought it was gonna be like. And yeah, no, I feel like honestly one of the biggest realizations that we've had is just how important like having a team is for projects like that, and just getting the right people to do like the things that they're good at is just like it's just so key because it just takes so much weight off your shoulders and so much stress away and lets you actually enjoy, why you want to do this, which is the creative part of things, right?
Yeah, so true.
Yeah.
And I feel like also like a really big thing with that as well. It's like the more work you can outsource to make a project good, the more everybody will be happy and the more projects you can actually do. Because if it takes you 4 weeks, for example, to do a project by yourself, but it only takes you, let's say, 2 weeks to do a project that's maybe like a bit less money. If you do 2 of those, then you have less work to do and you make more money. So it's kind of like there's always a happy medium depending on which way you go.
Yeah, I mean, look at big commercial production companies. They take on like one project a month.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Big projects,
And that's how it's done. I mean, yeah, like when we first heard some of the numbers that were being thrown out, like at least here in Canada, like the biggest city, Toronto, like you start hearing about some of the budgets and like a small budget being like $150,000, and you're just kind of like, I don't know, it just takes your breath away because you don't even like I don't know, that's not even a consideration where we live at least. Like that would be probably double the biggest budget that you could get in Atlantic Canada. So it just starts to like put things into perspective for you.
Yeah.
Like what you thought was a big deal is just like so small compared to everything else.
Yeah, exactly. Like every creative industry, people start at the very low, and there are different, like, look, you can see the difference between filmmakers who are coming from the industry itself and then decide they want to be independent, from those who've never done this before and then enter. Those who've been to the industry, they've seen the budgets out there. They know what's going on.
Yeah.
So for them to charge $500 for a gig, most of the time it's irrelevant. Like they've seen stuff.
Exactly.
You say the closer you are to the plate, well, there's a saying in Hebrew. I'm not sure if there's a way to say it in English, but the closer you are to the plate, the more opportunities you have.
Yeah.
And you see it differently. So it's definitely a mindset game first. When I went into this, I never thought about like doing a 5K project. Looked like, wow.
Exactly.
And nowadays a 5K is the minimum. Not because I'm so great, because you start to understand why 5K is the minimum, and I'm doing it myself.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Man, I was gonna ask you, since you've been on the it's something that we wanted to talk to you about, how you acted in that show for 2 years.
Yeah.
I'd be really interested to know like how different things are on a production for like actors in comparison to if you're working behind the scenes and like producing or directing or anything like that.
So in terms of what, just like how the day-to-day looks like, or?
Yeah, and like how your impression of the industry changed from that time to when you got into being behind the camera.
Okay, good question. Because nowadays, I don't act anymore. I do commercials though.
Yeah.
So first of all, I can tell you, when it comes to the day-to-day as an actor, not commercials and stuff.
Yeah.
The way it looked, it was like we had, I think it was 20 days in a row. I didn't shot for 2 years. So you're shooting for like 20 days in a row.
Right.
And there's a huge gap, and then you shoot the second season or whatever.
Right.
Now, those 20 days, are hectic as hell, because what happens is they want to utilize every day to the max.
Right.
So let's say you're shooting, I think it was 25 episodes. So you're shooting 25 episodes. I was one of the lead roles. You had 3 lead roles. Don't ask me. Anyway, so it starts like this. You're learning all your roles, which is about, on average, 10 pages where you have to rehearse and know everything about it, right? Roughly 10 pages, sometimes more, sometimes less. A page is about a minute of screen time.
Right.
And then you get on set, you wake up at around 4:35, taxi come picks you up, you get on set, you start shooting at around 6:30 after you're having breakfast. And you're pretty much the king on set. Like, everybody treats you like you're the king.
Wow.
So that's nice. I mean, I don't have the personality that looks for it, but it's nice.
Right.
So, and then you're not shooting in order. Like, it's not like, the beginning, the middle, and the end. No, it's all according to budget and location. Mm-hmm. So if we are on, like, at the beach, we will take, they will take like 10 scenes on the beach and shoot them at the same time. And so you can end up shooting scene number 4 from episode 1, and then scene number 9 from episode 8, and then episode 5, and then episode 21.
Whoa.
And it's all like on the same day. And there's no way as an actor you can follow up. You have no idea what's going on.
Right.
And then you understand the huge importance of the director. He tells you, listen, Aviv, your girlfriend just dumped you. Your mom hates you. And you're talking to the villain, trying to get them to give you the gold, whatever.
Yeah.
And you're fired.
Yeah. And it just, like, it really puts you, you start to understand how important the role of the director. And then within the production, only in hindsight, I can tell you how important, like, because, they shoot TV on those big ass cameras, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of scenes were shot on, like, one camera. Okay? Not 2 cameras. Like, over the shoulder, you'll do it twice or 3 times, because they do this angle and that angle and then a wide angle.
Right.
Right? Not including close-ups. So, like, you can end up doing the same scene for an hour, and that's like a 2-minute scene.
Oh.
Right? Yeah, they take this side, open and close, and then this side, open and close, and then wide. Right?
Right.
And then just that's just the basics. And don't forget that actors forget their lines, and the shot is not exactly like they wanted it, and blah 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 blah. And so schedule is always like, everybody's on their feet, like, like, all the time.
Right.
Like, there's no like, oh yeah, let's shoot this. No. it's always stressful, because it's always someone's money that's been wasted or whatever. But it was crazy experience. Love it. I will do it again. Like, it's funny, but just this day, I still have my agent, right? He still calls me sometimes, and he called me today for this part they're doing for a short movie they're going to shoot in Sri Lanka of surfers and stuff like that. So that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't really like the part. And so I'm now at a position that I can say no, because I will do it for fun, not for the money and not for the fame.
Right.
So I'm like, I told him, listen, it looks cool, but it doesn't look like I'm going to have fun doing this particular role. So I will have to pass. I'm always trying to figure out with myself where do I want to be, and what will make me the happiest. I didn't talk about this, but between going to doing the role and then going to college, where I started my drone business, I invested in a startup and I became the CEO. Now, a CEO is a big word, but I had no idea what I was doing. And I had a girlfriend at the time, and she was asking me like, why am I doing this startup thing and like having the video stuff on the side and all this kind of stuff, where she saw that I'm really happy just doing videos. Why am I doing this startup thing? And I realized that I was doing it because I wanted to get to the end of a startup, which is doing an exit and then not having to work ever again. And then I started to realize that's a stupid dream. Most of us have the connotation of, when it comes to work, that work is a bad thing. It's boring. It's like, oh my God, it's Monday again. But when I started doing videos, that feeling of Monday went away. I mean, I wasn't happy all the time. Nobody is.
Exactly.
But generally, I didn't have that cringe of a feeling when I wake up in the morning and, here we go again, going to the office. So I understand that I don't really want to get to that place, work my ass off in a job that I don't like, the startup. I didn't like it, for 10 years, hoping for an exit, just so I can not work.
Yeah.
And anyway, I decided that she's right. I exited that startup, and I was just asking myself, what do I want to do that I'll be able to do even if someone offered me to retire? I will retire, but I will still wake up in the morning and do that. Because you have to do something. Well, people think like they want to be on vacation 24/7. And I don't know in Canada what happened, but here in Israel, for example, people, when the Corona started, like people were sitting at home doing nothing. They got money from the government, so they could do nothing. And people started going crazy.
Yep.
And they started missing work. The work that they've been crying about on Mondays. Here it's Sunday. But so, yeah, you start to understand that you have to do something.
No, exactly. It's actually the exact same thing here. I mean, exact same thing happened where you were able to get money from the government, and then people went crazy. Mental health went down just because people were like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm just sitting at home. Like, I don't know. It's like I'm not doing anything, and it's fun for the first week, and then after the first week, you're like, oh shit! Like, I literally have nothing to do. I don't actually kind of a follow up on what you were saying there. So right now, doing what you love, what motivates you and pushes you to kind of that next level? Or like you wake up in the morning, like what do you look forward to?
It's a great question, because when I the course started to picking up in about I would say 4 or 5 months ago, really started to picking up. It's way far from what I wanted it to be, still way far, but you suddenly have this small success. And I also have this, and I also have my productions, and suddenly the hunger for wealth for me went drastically down. That component of motivation went away. Like, if I will give you now an infinite amount of money, you'll be crazy about it at first, but then you get used to it very quickly, because there's a point where an individual can't use all this money. Jeff Bezos, doesn't matter like what he will buy, there's a limit to what he can do with the money for himself. I'm talking about for himself, right? And it's not like I became rich. I specifically don't want to be a millionaire. I don't want to be there. I have my own reason why not. Okay. But I'm not looking for that. Millions bring millions problems. Okay. I don't want to be there. I want to be financially, financially free. I hate that thing, but kind of like in a place where I don't think about if I going on vacation 4 times a year and whatever I'm ordering, and I can decide not to work today because I don't,
Yeah.
So slowly I got to that point, and then you start asking yourself, why the hell do I wake up in the morning? Right? And so that's when like meaning kicks in. And if you don't have it, that's trick place. So I won't tell you it's like my life's mission to help people around the world. It's not my life mission. But what happened was that I started to really love it. I didn't realize I loved teaching until I did it. I started doing it. And I'm still, as I said, far from the success I want to have. And when I'm talking about success, it's not financial. For me, success is building a platform for creative people that will actually help them create a business. So right now I have this, but it's still far from what I have in mind. I still get like really positive feedback on the program, but I'm still waiting for like the man, you saved my life. Like I now have an amazing business and da 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 da. This is what drives me now.
Right.
So at first it was the money, and then it transitioned into like this, way more than the money.
Well, it's interesting because I definitely feel like being in the creative industry or even in the teaching industry. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of easier ways to make money. But
yeah,
if you stick with it, if you're in this for the long haul, generally it's because you really love what you're doing. Right? Like it's not because like, oh, I'm just gonna make like millions of dollars here in the next 2 weeks. It's like, oh, this is gonna be a lot of work, but it's work that I love to do, and that's like, I don't know. I feel like, you can't take the money with you when you die, right? So like,
yeah,
you might as well do something that you love to do.
Yeah, well, we are just borrowing it for the time being, and then we put it back.
Yeah.
Even a house that you buy, a land that you own, it will go away once you're dead, right?
Exactly.
It's like we are just like borrowing it for the time being.
And actually, I guess so we're going on a completely off topic from the conversation we just had. Again, very insightful stuff. I think everybody can learn a lot from what you just mentioned. I feel like everybody goes through those stages. It's like, as a human being, it's like no matter which career path you're doing, creative or non-creative, it's like you always want to try and look for something that you love doing. Where, as you mentioned, it's like when it's Monday, are you happy, or are you just like, oh shit, it's Monday again, I hate, like I'm on my phone, like trying to maybe like call off work. Am I going to call in sick today? I don't know. But kind of going away from that completely, you were kind of talking about that, I guess, what the agent kind of mentioned about the surfing documentary. And I've read a bit about you, and I know you're a bit of a surfer. Can you talk a bit about how you get into surfing, and why do you love surfing so much?
Yeah, I got it when I was like, I think 13. I don't see myself as a surfer. I just see myself as somebody who has a surfboard who likes to be in the ocean. I'm not that good, but you don't have to be good to love it, to enjoy it. I started around 13, 14. It's the stage where everybody does like you're a skater one day, and then you're a surfer, and then you play soccer, and then like you try all those different things with your friends. And that stuck. That's the only thing that stuck with me to this day, where I am like almost every year I do like a surf trip and ski. So these are like, yeah, the only sport that I love. I hate going to the gym. I just hate it.
Do you have any crazy surfing stories?
Yeah, it's funny you're asking this because there's an actual short documentary on me where they,
Oh, really?
yeah, they did like a day in the life of Aviv, where they asked me about it. So it was the first time I was abroad from Israel. So I was in Portugal. It was winter, October, super cold water. Everything's dark. Everything's evil. Like everything wants to kill you. That's how you see it. Like the first time you're in in unfamiliar territory. You're going out at sea. You're like 500 meters away from the shore. Huge waves. I think it was around like 3 to 4 meters. Face, I think it was, yeah, face 3 to 4 meters. Even
Just
higher.
in general, for anybody who doesn't know, like in Portugal, it's pretty like well known all around the world about like for its surf, and they've the highest recorded waves ever.
Oh yeah, in Nazareth. Yeah, I wasn't there. I'm not a big.
I would assume so.
You're not surfing those waves?
What?
Oh wow!
You're not surfing those waves?
No, thank God. So yeah, I was there, and we were sitting up in the lineup, waiting for sets to come, and suddenly there was this monster set coming from deep, like within, and I was too low. I was like too close to the shore,
Right.
and it was I was in a point where I cannot paddle to the shore. I have to paddle out because it's going to catch me.
Right.
And so there's like, once you see a set coming and everybody yells like outside, so you're starting this race against the set, when you pedaling out.
Right.
And I was just starting pedaling like crazy with my friends, and everybody's like yelling and laughing at the same time because it's stressful as fuck. And I don't remember what went through my head, but I was just seeing this crazy set coming, and I pedaled the hardest that I could. Almost felt like my arms falling off because it's really scary. You seeing the wave forms and you see it's huge, and you're like, I'm never gonna make it. I'm never gonna make it. I'm never gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it. I'm not making it. And like the wave. Okay, people can't see through podcasts, but anyway, this was a wave, right? And the lip was like starting to fold, and it just took me with him like this. And that was the moment where I realized I cannot do anything. I fucked it up, and it just dragged me to the bottom of the ocean. And I remember thinking, holy shit, I'm in the middle. Like I'm 3,000 kilometers away from home, and I'm feeling the bottom of the ocean in like middle of like the sea.
Yeah.
It was super stressful.
Yeah.
And it's
how long
just
were you
like
underwater for?
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like forever. And also air is coming out of your mouth. Like you don't really know what goes on. And like okay. So first of all, before I felt the ground, it was, I was rolling around, and I didn't know which way's up. So you start like swimming just wherever.
Right.
And a lot of people died like this, by the way. They thought that like the bottom is, the
top. Yeah.
the top, and yeah. And so luckily for me, I felt the ground a couple moments later, and then I just pushed with my feet up, and then starting to swimming and holding my leash, and then doing like this, and like, and wow. Yeah, but I didn't went out because I knew that if I were to let this thing like win my spirit, anyway, I would have trauma for life. So at this moment, I had to just keep surfing.
Said, fuck it, let's keep going.
You have to, because otherwise it's a trauma, and you don't want that.
No,
And actually, that's like the first time it happened to me abroad, but it happened to me also here in Israel. So I already kind of like knew, okay, just keep on, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I feel like, honestly, I feel like that seems to be your, almost like your motto for life, you know, from what we've known. It's just like, whenever things get harder, whenever things get scary, just fuck it, let's keep going. I love that.
I've never said it, but from what you're saying it, yeah, maybe, man, maybe.
Yeah. You know, like, I mean, whether it's with your like when you first started out, I mean, I don't even know how you got the TV gig, like as an actor, but I mean, that's something like, that's a pretty big deal, right? Like if you're going from never having acted before or not really being in that space to just all of a sudden, all right, you're the main character. It's like,
yeah,
okay.
it was.
No, I feel like a lot of people would be like, I don't know if I can do that. Like, I don't think I can do that. But you're just kind of like, let's do it.
Okay, I'll tell you why. Because I always think, what's worse? Like, what's the worst that could happen? And I think people are afraid of going to that place in their mind. Okay, so it's the same thing that happened to me with whenever I do a big production. When I talking about a big production, I'm not talking about the budget. I'm talking about, is it big relative to what I've done so far?
Yeah.
You know, is it over my head?
Yeah.
And even the first production that you've ever done for $300 is over your head once you start.
Exactly.
And once you do it, and the worst thing happens, and you see that you're still alive, and it's not the worst, then it's all good. The problem is, most of us try to keep a perfect record throughout our whole lives. And the best thing we can do is like fail and feel the bottom, and then see that the bottom is not that bad. Then you're not that scared of the bottom. You know?
Exactly. I mean, I think like learning to live with failure is probably like the thing that I have appreciated most about starting our own business, is just being like understanding that failure doesn't mean that, you know, like it's over for you and you'll never succeed and like you're never gonna make it. It just means that, okay, you figured out a way that doesn't work and you've learned from that, so let's like figure it out.
Yeah, it's just, once you understand, and it's such a mindset game, once you understand this is a process. Rome was not built in one day, right?
Yeah.
Every day they put one brick at a time. And I know it sounds obvious that, yeah, it's a process. It's not one day. But a lot of people who are listening right now, including me, like if I'm talking to Aviv 5-7 years ago, I was expecting myself, once I started whatever it was, to just be good at. Not best, but be good at.
Yeah.
Right? And so I became the worst critic of myself. And that's the worst thing you can do when you judge yourself, overjudge yourself all the time. So understanding that it's a process can really give you motivation. You want some real motivation? Go to some famous YouTubers. Watch their first videos. A good story about that's Mr. Beast. You know Mr. Beast?
Oh yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, great. Love that guy. Go to his, like, you can scroll down the whole way through to his first videos. He was just playing FPS games and doing commentary and talking about how he wants to be a YouTuber and that's his mission. He's done those videos for 6 years with no more than 1,000 views on a video. And it just goes to show he started from nothing. And you look at those videos and you're just like, what's in it? Like, what's in those videos? Nothing. Perseverance, man. Wow.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Exactly.
Ben's mom came here.
Yeah,
So we're just doing a
computer problem.
I love it that, people will listen to this and they understand this is part of the process we just talked about. Like, you guys, it's not perfect set studio right now we're sitting in, where like it's Joe Rogan. It's not. Your mom just came along, and it's okay. It's like, and other people who want to start a podcast right now are like, but what if my mom will come in the middle of? Yeah, it just happened. So what? Big deal.
No, it's actually one of the biggest things that we actually started the podcast last year. I mean, for us, the main reason was to try and connect with like cool creatives, see what people are like, maybe learn from them, right? But the reason why we stopped is like, there's like so many things to do. Everything needs to be so perfect. It's like we're videographers, so like the podcast has to be like pristine, lighting has to be great. And I mean, you look at my camera now, it's like the camera is complete garbage. But it's like every episode we're gonna try and make something a little bit better. And then honestly, slowly, maybe within a few months, a year, it's like suddenly the podcast gets better. It's like suddenly you have a set, suddenly you have other things. So it's like you don't need the best of the best to be able to start ever, no matter what you're doing.
And you don't have to have the best of the best to have something interesting to say. And I think that's a big point as well when it comes to something like this. Like if you ever watch Joe Rogan's first podcasts, he's sitting in front of his like webcam with his friend, and they're just like the audio's horrible, the video's terrible. And that's what it was like for like the first literally like I think year or 2 years that he did it. And then like it just from that point on, like obviously he got more famous and things like that, but like Rome wasn't built in a day, as they always say. Like you gotta start somewhere. And to people who might be afraid of like failing or might be afraid to start something because they're not good at it. Well, nobody's good at anything when they first start, unless you're like the one in a million. Like people get good over time. It's through practice, it's through dedication, like it's through learning. And I think like you're a great example of that, from like coming from where you started to where you are now. And I feel as though hopefully at some point, if we aren't already at least some sort of example of that, we'll be able to show people that like you don't have to go to school to become like a director or to become like a filmmaker or whatever. You just have to put in the time and the effort and the work, and it's going to take you years of pain, but you'll get there, and that's what matters.
On the contrary, I don't think school becomes more and more irrelevant because they don't catch up with how the world is operating, and in a lot of disciplines it's just irrelevant. And I will tell you more. Like right now, I'm helping one of my clients to hire an editor, and today we went through 20 different applicants, and like people are sending this huge paragraph about themselves, why they think that the perfect for the part, and they send us a CV. I went to this school and did this and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I told her, listen, I don't care about all this stuff. Just play the video. They sent, like 1-2 videos. And within 5 seconds, I can tell her if they will move to the next stage, regardless of their CV. And so especially for whoever listens to this, when it comes to the creative, space, our work talks for itself a lot of time.
Absolutely.
We like, I don't care if that editor started editing 1 month ago or has 10 years experience and went to film school. I don't care. So again, I'm not a big corporation, of course, and da, but I think it's where the industry starts to go.
I agree.
Totally. But yeah, and then honestly, just to wrap things up, again, Aviv, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Honestly, right now, it's your time to plug away anything you want, your course, anything that you want to share with people. We'll put that in the description, either on YouTube or on Spotify, wherever, everywhere it's going to be. So it's the stage is yours.
Thanks. I don't love to hard sell or anything. Just super honest. Like if whoever listens to this, even if you're not a videographer, so I built this program for creative people, first for videographers and filmmakers, to help them get more clients and charge more for their work, and actually manage the whole business aspect of their business. So that's transitioning from a freelancer mindset to a business mindset. And you don't have to have a lot of cash to change your mindset. You don't have to have any money at all. It starts with changing your mindset, just understanding how you construct a project. And this, even the simplest thing as looking at yourself as an employee of your company, and then pricing your own hours within the project, and then pricing it. Just understanding this small thing can really change your whole way, like you're doing, like the way you price work. And it goes on and on and on with all those kind of principles and things and changing of mindset. So yeah, whoever listens to this, you can go check out the program. It's called Film Business Master. The link down below or wherever you guys will put it. And whoever wants to go on a podcast with me or an interview or whatever, I'll be glad as well.
Sounds great. Well, yeah, thanks for listening, to everyone, to the Creatives podcast. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into all the tips and tricks that Aviv gave us in helping you grow your business, and also just learning a little bit more about, what it takes to, be successful in life, regardless of what you're doing as a career. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say. Ilya, I don't know if you have anything else you'd like to add.
I was just gonna say, catch you in the next one.
Catch you in the next one.
Peace.
Catch you in the next one. Bye.